carry on. It goes without saying, when we are supported by a lot of people, we are bound to feel like having more influence naturally in our society. So this influence gives us some money and fame and a social status that normal people long for. And it is not actually confined to only the matter of individual people, but organizations also scramble for influence to pursue their ambition. For example, some people make a falsification and dramatize their business career to attract more people to in order to get more support from people purposely. And celebrities just join in the national administration for their publicity and influence. And famous business owners also join in national administration to get more influence that solidifies their social status. And as is often the case with the justice of Japan, judges in Japan dare to hand down the conviction to the defendants, even though they have the doubts in their mind against the fact that this defendant didn't do anything at all in order to win the promotion race. Because the number of cases that judges concluded in the court and the number of cases that judges handed down the conviction to the defendants so far is one primary evaluation indicator for them to get promotion in court in the justice of Japan, which becomes a hotbed of wrongful conviction in Japan. So they must recognize the trade-off between the fruits as promotion to get more influence and sacrifice for their promotion as wrongful conviction in Japanese judicial system. And or else a cult grows its power by gathering so many believers, and it finally joined in national administration by making their own political party to get more influence and get more power in the society. So, and or else, in order to get more power, of money, some people just place a deceptive advertisement to persuade more prospects to trust what they're doing, their businesses. So the feeling that we want to get more influence, we want to have more influence, and we want to have more power, undoubtedly becomes a trigger for conflicts with someone who have the same thoughts. So in the first place, sooner or later, we come to realize that all the contributions they've done in the society is for their, enhancement of their influence or getting more power about it. Or we just come to realize that we are just taken advantage of by their dirty ambition instinctively. So what I want to say here is like all the behaviors that are originated from the feeling that we want to get superiority to others with the power of influence will bring about negative thoughts like resentment, jealousy, and the sense of retaliation among people involved in it, no matter how happily they appeal to us. So this becomes the trigger for conflict, regardless of small or big, or just quarrel, private quarrel, or just big war. So same is true for the country. The reason that Russia invaded Ukraine is like the Russia obviously has ambition to increase the influence in the international community by expanding the national territory, which no matter what kind of reason they appeal to the international community to justify their activity. So in material society and in competitive society of capitalism, having motivation like we want to have more power, we want to have more influence in order to fulfill our ambition is widely affirmed. So victory in our society is premised, is always premised on so many sacrifices and conflicts. So the more people think this way as a common sense, the more intensified conflicts happen around us. So, how many people there are actually there are who want to have who want to have more power and who want to have more influence for their own benefits and the sense of superiority on this planet. So this way of thinking is rampant around our society on the individual level, so that it is not really strange that Russia provoked this war against Ukraine. So ambition should be used in the direction of natural contribution and kind-hearted, devoted activity that is not premised of getting your large benefit, getting your large profits. So your motivation should not be like getting the influence, getting the power in a society. So your motivation should be like making devoted support for other people without expecting anything in return. So if you look what I'm talking about as just high-sounding talk, I think sooner or later you will be caught up in the trap of the spiral of power gain in a society. So if people have the ambition with the wrong way, the world will become more and more chaos. So the influence is what we must abandon out of our minds, and mercifulness is what we have to keep in our mind, I think.